What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to Backtrack Cinema, where we talk movies of the past that you know and love. I am your host, Jason Nike. I'm judge, jury, and executioner of the channel. And I got my good friend, Caleb from the Dark Aether Files podcast on today to watch Rocky 5, and it will be a first-time watch for him. So we're excited. So get your movies ready, guys, and we're just going to talk for a bit and discuss some stuff about Rocky. And Caleb, how you doing, my man?
Well, first of all, hello there. It's great to be back here on Backtrack Cinema. Um, I love I like getting into Rocky with you. Like there's certain franchises that I can just like hang out with you and just chat about. I mean, the most popular I think for us would be Terminator, then
Yeah.
Predator, then Rambo, and then here we are on Rocky. Um, I don't know what it is. I think we click, especially with a lot of these older movies because
Oh yeah, yeah.
I have an appreciation for classic film, mainly because I've grown up with a lot of these classics thanks to my father. But I am excited to get into Rocky Five because I'm fresh faced when it comes to Rocky. I've seen plenty of Rambo, but Rocky I haven't even sort of touched
Oh,
until
awesome,
now.
awesome. Well, I'll tell you, this is considered the least favorite of everyone. So this is why it's going to be interesting while you're watching this. I personally love it. It's got a lot of personal meaning to me. Um, that I won't get into on this show, but I tell my story on the Rocky Files podcast. So if anyone's interested, you can go there. But I'll mention a few things here. But David's here said, "Were you drinking raw eggs? You're too late." No, I wasn't. I was just talking to Caleb, and we just started a little late. Oh my goodness, Peter Anthony, thank you so much. $5 super chat.
Hello
Looking
there.
forward to this. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to
Merry
you, buddy.
Christmas, you
Um,
filthy animal, and a
yeah,
happy new year.
I did. My kid was watching that tonight. We watched the Grinch cartoon. Then he started watching Home Alone. Apollo Balboa says, "Yo, guys, love Rocky 5. Go for it. Absolutely." And Movie Jeff says, "Hey guys, what's going on, Jeff? How you doing, buddy? Hope you're having a good holiday, and hope you're prepped for Christmas and all that." Um, oh yeah, Jeff is. I'm a big fan of Rocky 5. Absolutely. So, Caleb, you just watched Rocky 4 for the first time. So, and the rest of them, obviously. So, what give them all your before we get going, your thoughts on Rocky 4, and maybe just quickly, what do you think of the franchise thus far?
Well, as far as the franchise, I'm enjoying it. I'm seeing a nice progression of the story following Rocky. I will say that Rocky Four was somewhat spoiled for me because of Family Guy. So in um, I can't. I think it was season 4 or season 5 of Family Guy where Brian goes back to college and they do a parody of the training montage from Rocky Four with the song, and then it ends with Brian going up on the top of an icy mountain shouting "Drago." I always found that funny, and then I see it here and like, okay, that's where they got it. I mean, I like it. I love Rocky Four. It's a pretty good movie. I like how they go into the snow setting, kind of fitting for Christmas. But I love the training montage and seeing the difference between Rocky and Drago, where Drago is in a more controlled environment, whereas Rocky, he's in,
A fucking
wild,
cold man.
yeah, he's in wild terrain. He's getting the much more authentic training experience. Like if I had to choose between the two, I'd go with Rocky's training because I mean he was busting ass. I mean they were both busting ass, but Rocky he was just cutting wood, helping people out when they needed it, going up to the top of an icy mountain, shouting from the top of his lungs,
Now,
"Drago!"
yeah. Now, did you happen to watch Stallone's director's cut?
No, I watched the original.
Okay, you should go and we're, watch the director's cut, and I'd like to look at the differences because he made it more modern and a bit more. It's darker,
Mm-hmm.
but there's some great scenes he added to that. Um, oh, 543 Deadhead. It's time for an ice cold one with Backtrack Cinema. I appreciate that, man. Cheers, cheers. Jeff says, I know everyone hates Rocky 5, but it's got some of the greatest emotional scenes of the franchise. You can't change my mind. I agree, man. And can't I'll let's just keep it down. Caleb hasn't seen those big scenes, so we're gonna start like in a couple minutes, get through these chats here. Daner, how you doing, buddy? My introduction to Rocky was a fucking Brisk commercial,
That sounds like something that would happen to us.
buddy. And Dave says, "Hello, guys. Go for it. We will." All right. So, Caleb, I'm gonna count down from 5, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play.
All right.
I'm gonna do 2 at once here, so we're gonna do our best here. So, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, play. All right, here we go, guys. Now, Caleb, I like the way this starts. You're gonna notice it's got a bit darker tone,
Mm-hmm.
really showing the effects Rocky takes from Drago, like the punches.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah, we'll just I'm not gonna talk about it too much to let Caleb enjoy it, but we still gotta talk. So
Mm-hmm.
I've always loved this opening here with the again showing us what happened before, like all Rocky movies.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. I like how they show some of the previous scenes. It reminds me of some of the classic Universal monster films where they'll show what happened in the previous movie to get you caught up on what's happening now.
Of course, they tried to capture lightning in a bottle by bringing back the director of Rocky One.
Mm-hmm.
So he directed this, and there was issues. They were writing this while they were filming it. It was one of these situations,
Ah,
and
like
they
Alien 3.
originally they were going to kill Rocky in this. So then they
Ooh.
changed their mind halfway through, or Stallone changed his mind, and so I think that's why the script kind of got kind of wonky. But there's work print of this that I think Stallone he'd like to go back and redirect this one or recut it.
Mm,
So 543 Deadhead says my grandpa used to work for Sylvester Stallone back in '93.
nice.
Nice, man. That's like Demolition Man years. Peter says best Rocky quote ever when he splashes on. It makes him smeal meanly. Man, I love that from Rocky too. Yeah, and we got this Bill Conti music that's completely changing this feel. I
Yeah.
find it's more dramatic.
Yeah, this fight was intense. I love how Rocky was just taking all these punches and he was just still getting up. Like, obviously it was affecting him, but he just wouldn't stop. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. And Stallone, they went for it. Like they were really hitting each other. These are real punches, man.
Hit the
Five
one
four
in the
three
middle.
Deadhead says, I still have the cliffhanger poster from back then and VHS.
Nice.
Nice, man. Yeah, I just reviewed Cliffhanger not that long ago.
That's another Stallone movie I haven't seen.
I don't like it as much as other people like it, but I would still say it's a really good. It's Die Hard on a Mountain, but
Hmm.
it's in a good way. I think when people started copying Die Hard, I think that was a good thing.
Yeah.
And this was the first Rocky movie I ever saw in the theater, Caleb. So I was 11 when I went and saw this. So you can imagine 11-year-old already a big Rocky fan at that point, big Rambo fan.
Yeah.
And I was like this is awesome. David says the second Rocky film I saw was Rocky 5. Rocky 5 is a masterpiece. He loves it. And Deadhead says and Demolition Man. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, we gotta see the naked Stallone.
Yeah. Apollo Balboa says, "Get up, you son of a bitch. Mickey loves you." Oh, there's that dark music. What's going on, Rock? What's going on, my friend? Great continuation, though, eh? Like she's in the
Yeah.
same outfit and everything.
Her hair got longer. Seems like.
So we're into a dark start. Like it's we finally see Rocky in this vulnerable state. Like, oh shit, these beatings have caught up to him. Like
Yeah.
Apollo says, Apollo did more damage to Rocky's face than Drago. I agree.
Hmm.
I thought Stallone should have been more busted up from that Drago fight, but maybe they ran low on makeup. Here he is, a hero returning. And we're going to see Stallone's real life son, who unfortunately passed away in 2012. But
Damn.
this is Sage Stallone coming up.
Wow.
Which I think he did a pretty good job in this. You have to let me know what you think, Caleb, as we go along, but I thought he did a
Yeah.
really good job.
I like his jacket. That's something I enjoyed from
Yeah.
part 4.
Jeff says zero continuity errors in this film. Yeah, I know. Yeah, the kid grew up pretty fast.
Yeah.
Hey, man, in the horror world, there's worse, man. I'll take Rocky's continuity over Friday the 13th and a lot of these other horror franchises that just ignore what.
I think the biggest offender would be like Halloween.
Yeah. There's our Dong King clone.
Oh, wait a minute. That's the guy from
Jason Goes to
freaking.
Hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god. George Washington Duke. Ah, the Duke, huh?
Creed 4, Creed versus Union Gain.
Duke, huh? Reminds me of the Duke of New York. He's a number 1. Can you tell me where that's from?
It's not ringing a bell, but my
Escape
memory is
from New
going.
York. John Carpenter, Kurt
Oh,
Russell.
I need to rewatch that one because I honestly am not the biggest fan of it. I don't remember
Hmm.
like loving it as much as other people do, and I love Carpenter.
Yeah, I mean, Escape from New York isn't as popular as some of his other films, but that said, I do love Kurt Russell,
That's
and
what I like the character. Like,
yeah,
forget Stallone. He's playing with the microphones, and it's like, would you just shut up?
he just get through a fight with Drago, and they're
Yes, he's
already
just
egging
got
him
off a.
on
Yep,
to fight again after
and like
doing this.
and this guy Union Kane's going ain't got nothing like I got for you. This guy just beat the best fighter, a killer. He took out Apollo, and this little weasel's gonna come on.
Man, maybe you should put Union Kane here against Drago. See how long he lasts. There's your answer.
The press, eh?
Mm-hmm. Do
God,
you
I love
think
the Bill.
that? Let me ask you this without going into spoilers. Do you think that maybe one of the reasons this film didn't really sit well with people is because you just got off of a big story with Drago, and then maybe the antagonist in this film just isn't the same? Like maybe
Oh,
the
the antagonist is the biggest problem in this movie.
okay,
You're gonna find out. This not very memorable, but I'll let you. but I think it's a good like. It's still my least favorite Rocky movie out
Mhm.
of the first 6, but it's not a bad movie
Okay.
by any stretch.
Peter Anthony knew what I was talking about. That's good.
Yeah, Escape from the yeah.
But hey, you want to talk about unpopular sequels? You should try Escape from L.A.
Oh, that's a terrible fucking. It's the same fucking movie that's done terribly. I
Yeah,
hated it.
the CGI surfing kind of just I was like, this is actually happening. I mean, I've only watched the movie once, but that that image of Snake Plissken surfing is just kind of ingrained in my head.
Yeah. And you got to understand if you watch Stallone's documentary,
Mhm,
he kind of talks about at this time in his life,
mhm.
he had a lot of regrets
Yeah.
of spending too much time away from his son, and he added that element into this. You'll
Hmm.
see what this is really about past regrets and stuff. Not
Oh
getting
my
putting it.
god, damn.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
my French teacher.
I can partially relate to that.
Peter says the Duke had escaped from New York is Isaiah Hayes, also chef from South Park.
Yeah, he's good.
He's back to his jokes. He's trying to they're trying to capture that Rocky one.
Yeah.
They're trying to.
Nice fish tank. Though I think I'd
Yeah.
be a little paranoid of sleeping with the fish tank right behind my head.
His eyes are fucked up, man.
Yeah. He got the shit kicked out of him. Rocky Raccoon.
I'm surprised he can get his wedding ring on after all his hands being so freaking swollen, probably.
Right.
Film Kid is here. He says, I made it. Glad you're here, my friend. Glad
Hello
you're here.
there. Yeah, you know what? This is reminding me a lot of Rocky 1.
Yeah, Stallone's trying to capture that. He's even got the body language of it down again. And so,
Yeah.
Film Kid says the worst Rocky movie, in my opinion.
Hmm.
You're not the only one. A lot of people feel that way.
He's the thief. I need alcohol. That's an appropriate response.
Yeah. And this is something that actually happens to a lot of boxers. They end up with nothing. after their career.
I can buy it.
Film Kid says thoughts on Heat. I love it. I don't have that kind of time, but Heat is awesome. I could do an hour on that movie.
I haven't watched it.
I guarantee you'll like it.
Mm-hmm.
David says Sage should have received an Oscar for this film, and Talia Shire. Yeah, Talia Shire's brilliant in this film, man, I think.
What the hell?
Oh, the loan shark. Peter says opinion. Rocky works so well as an outside enemy, not an inside. Most Rockies show the strength he draws from Adrian and his family. This one does the opposite and tears it apart. I respect your opinion, Peter, but I think this. I'm not gonna. Caleb will find out as we go along, but I don't think Rocky is a perfect person. I think he makes mistakes, and I like seeing them go have Rocky make a mistake and showing that he's, this is a real person. But I understand that point of view too, though.
Yeah.
Peter's out of character for the Rocky regrown to love. My 2 cents.
Mm-hmm.
Stacy, how are you? From the Rocky Files. She says, "Hey guys,
Hello there.
we got a first-time viewer, Stacy, for Rocky 5. Caleb, where is he? Right there. First-time viewer.
Hello.
First-time viewer.
I know. People have already crucified me for other movies I haven't watched.
God, we could do a whole series with you. We could do a whole series of just doing these.
Yeah, I mean, I've already talked to several people.
That could be fun in the future.
I've talked to several people that we need to start a new watch along series called My First Time, because there's so many movies I haven't seen. It's ridiculous. Hello there. Nice to meet you.
So there it is.
Through text.
So there it is. Brain damage. Permanent brain damage.
Well, considering how many times he got clocked in the head from Drago, yeah.
Film Kid says, my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie, it's Death Proof. Personally, my favorite.
I do love Pulp Fiction. But I haven't seen every Quentin Tarantino movie either, so.
Fucking Adrian in this, man. She's so good in this. She never did care about any of that money.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my Rocky crew is dropping in. You know who they are. Melissa Balboa says, "Hi all. Caleb, hope you're enjoying the Rocky saga. Keep an open mind on 5, not as bad as many people say. And Rocky Balboa 6 is a gem. Caleb's coming on for Rocky 6 as well. So
yeah,
we just got to figure out a date and time. This is likely my last live stream until the new year, guys. So I'll probably open up for questions after. I hit 700 subscribers too, guys. So after we'll do some Q&A, a little Christmas celebration here. And this is a Christmas movie. We will find out if you guys remember. Paulo Balboa says we never would have gotten Rocky Balboa if not for part 5. That's true. Bankrupt. So we're going back to the streets. There's the bike from part 3.
Hey, please would be nice.
Film Kid says, Caleb, you're not alone. I'm a movie YouTuber and I have not seen Jaws. But you're also only 11, Film Kid. Caleb's not.
Yeah, I'm Don't worry. I was and still am where you are, even in my advanced age. You'll get there.
Keep in mind, when I grew up, when I was a kid, it was the '80s, and
Well, see, I would
I
love
watched all that because
to.
that's what we watched. You watched a lot more TV. I think we watched a lot more movies back then, just because that's what there was to do. There was not all this distraction of everything.
Yeah. Plus, I think that the quality of film has gone down significantly as of recent.
Yep, yo yo yo, Melissa
You
Bubble.
see, that's why channels like yours, J Man, are important because you bring people back to better times. Because you talk about a movie, then you get somebody curious to go look for it. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. And that's also the reason
Well,
why.
I like to preserve all film, and you know what? If let's say I'm still doing this in 10 years, 10, Backtrack Cinema is all about just going back to the past. Like I'll probably talk about the movies now, 10 years from now. It's still,
Yeah,
I mean, it's still going to have its place. God knows where movies are going to be 10 years from now.
yeah, it's a good question.
But I don't think the future is looking bright. I do not think it's looking bright.
At least
I think
not
there
for
are.
here in the states.
I think there's quality movies. I'm just saying. I think um, people are just not. They're not paying to go to the theater no more.
Yeah.
They're just not. I mean, for me, it's just time. It's a lot of things, but
Well, it's also quality.
it's quality, right? Yeah. All right, Stacy's gonna have her 2 cents here. Peter, I think Rocky Five is all about getting your priorities straight. Every marriage goes through some serious challenges. Sly said Rocky Five was a reflection of what was going on in his real life. Yeah, I'll get to some of this stuff too. Stacy, you're absolutely right, and you know me, Stacy. I relate to this movie. Um, she also says, I think it makes Rocky and Adrian more real to face some serious marriage turbulence. Every marriage has those chapters. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna have to stay quiet for a few minutes. I want Caleb to soak this moment in here because this is one of the best moments in Rocky franchise. I'll get to your guys' questions. I'm just gonna let's just soak this scene in here.
Holy shit! You're kidding me. It's abandoned. What the hell?
Well, because if Rocky never did nothing with it, it was his. Technically, it was left to him. Listen to that Bill Conti score. So beautiful.
Damn that's a real heavy hitter.
The dust. I love this so much. There he is. Our special appearance by Burgess Meredith. It's just like the old days, man.
Yeah. He's a wrecking machine.
This is such a emotional moment between these two that we've never seen before. Man, he was so wise. He had so much advice to give to Rocky.
Yeah. Hmm.
Huh?
Hmm.
So good. Now that everything's over, he's just thinking of this moment. You was the angel. What got him going? What got him up, eh?
Yeah.
Unbelievable scene. So good. Um,
Hmm. Wow.
all right. The film kid says, did you hear about the Jonathan Majors situation and getting fired? Yes, I did, and that's an assault charge. So they got to do what they got to do.
Well, I'm gonna be honest.
I don't know the details, so
Well, I mean, speaking specifically from the character standpoint, Kang did not sell me as the next Thanos whatsoever. Like, I didn't watch much of his stuff because I clocked out after the first season of Loki, and then She Hulk happened, and it just made things worse.
that's terrible. I hated She-Hulk.
So yeah, I mean, I don't care.
Film Kid says thoughts on Barbie. In my opinion, it's the worst movie of the year so far.
I,
I want to
I'd
watch it.
say
My kids want to watch it. So
Barbie has some really great marketing because it fools the audience into thinking that it's going to be faithful to whatever the brand was, but it turned out to be something completely different.
Ledger Forever says I saw Die Hard in the theater yesterday. My life is now complete. That's awesome. I would love to see that in the theater.
Surround sound, man, big screen.
Movie Jeff says, "What a scene!" Oh,
Yeah,
Jeff, so good, isn't it? And bringing Mickey back just for that one scene, man, just pulls on your heartstrings.
yeah, for sure. Well, from what I mean, the thing about Barbie, from what I heard from people that I trust that review film, they were talking about how it turned into a sort of like hardcore feminist piece that was basically making all the men in the film look like idiots. And me, I like a little balance. Like, okay, you want to make men look like idiots, you got to do the same thing for the women. Or a better one would be you don't need to break down men to build up women.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Ledger says, Jason, She Hulk or Creed 3? Oh, as much as I don't like Creed 3, I'll take Creed 3 over She Hulk. She Hulk's fucking embarrassing, man. Stacy agrees with you, Caleb.
Yeah, look, I was born in '97, and my exposure to cinema and what my parents taught me, you know, I'm I've I'm trained now to see the difference between well written female characters and the the uh, the shitty, to say the least, because
Yeah.
you know a lot of the a lot of movies today that have a female lead, not all of them, just most of them have women not only doing things that are physically impossible, which I wouldn't have a problem with if there was an explanation for it. It's always very accommodating, and it reminds me of the better times where you know you have characters like Sarah Connor and Ellen Ripley. And I know that some people get tired of hearing that, reference because it's like, oh,
Well, it's
you
because
know,
they're the two best female characters ever written. That's
Well, you
what
know what?
they're two of the best, right?
I'll give a modern example. Alita Battle Angel. That's a that
Yeah,
is a
very
well written
very good.
female character that was made. I say recently, but it wasn't recent. But it's in this, the 2010s, 2020, that sort of era. It's just a lot of these films build up these women by making the men around them look and act incompetent. I mean, the biggest one for me is Ghostbusters 2016, where you literally had Chris Hemsworth as a complete moron. Like, forget all the cringy dialogue and jokes in that movie.
Yeah,
The character of whatever his name was in the movie, he was a complete idiot. Like, it wasn't like a joking character or like the class clown. He was literally an idiot in
yeah,
every sense of the word. There was nothing funny about it. He was there he was a male bimbo, essentially. He was there to look pretty, but he was dumb as rocks.
yeah.
And it was dumb. And it
Yeah, I
wasn't like
just
a personal insult to men. I just didn't like the character because the
yeah,
character wasn't funny.
I couldn't
And
do that movie. I just couldn't. It just
it's a
didn't just
we've
didn't
done
do
watch
nothing for me.
we did a watch along for it twice, I think. Once when it was just me and Carter, and then second time was with Danner, and it was painful. The jokes, the the plot. I'll just say this: there are ways to write good characters, and Ghostbusters 2016 is a great film on how not to do it, among other movies. But
All right,
but
we're here to meet our
I'm sorry,
we're
I
here
was
to meet
ranting.
a good guy turning bad guy
Oh,
soon with this. So this is Tommy Morrison. He was a real fighter, playing Tommy Gunn.
hmm,
He died of AIDS, I believe,
that
and
sucks.
he is the great nephew of John Wayne.
Really?
So John Wayne's name was Marion Morrison. This guy's Tommy Morrison.
Okay,
He did fight George Foreman. He had a hell of a so Stallone got a real fighter in this.
that's cool.
But I also think maybe it's better to get an actor and just teach them how to fight.
Yeah,
Of course, we got our this promoter bugging Rocky still. We're back in the old streets. It's
yeah.
cold. We're trying to get that feeling of Rocky 1 again.
I like the dark and gritty feel. It's
Yeah,
nice.
it is. It's trying to come back to the first one. I haven't seen Equalizer 3 film kit. I haven't seen number 2, but I really like the first one.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of the Equalizer films. Sorry.
Film kit says isn't the Black Christmas remake very feminist? Let's not get into that.
That's what I
That's a
heard,
whole that's
but I never
that's a whole
watched
nother
it.
can of I don't like any Black Christmas fucking remake. I think they're both terrible on every level, but um
Great. Hold the bullshit.
what's going on, Carol? Yeah, I find this is a very much Adrian's movie. She's in
Yeah.
it a lot.
Gotta appreciate her dedication to Ram. I'm about to call him Rambo. Jesus. Look, all right. A little history again, really quick. All right. I'm a Rambo guy. All right. My exposure to Sylvester Stallone was strictly Rambo. As a younger guy, that is all I watched. Now, my dad egged me on to watch Rocky, all right, in his defense, but I never budged. I never took the bait, so to speak. I'm correcting that now, but that little slip up, that's why.
Film Kit says, "Hey Jason, this is a video idea for you. You should do your favorite movie for each year you've been alive." Oh, it's coming. My birthday's on St. Patrick's Day. I got to do 45 movies though. I'm an old man. Every year I got to add another freaking movie to the list. My favorite movie of this year, I will say so far, guys, is Air. I think so. Air, the one about the Matt Damon movie. It's really good.
Well, if you get a chance to watch -1 this year, that might change your mind.
Yeah, that might change. Well, I got a lot of movies to watch. I know there's some good ones in there, but
Really quick, I'm just going to say this to the chat. Go watch Godzilla -1 if you're able to. And the cool thing is, you don't need to be a Godzilla fan or be required to watch any other Godzilla movie. This is a strictly standalone film made right from Japan, so it's authentic. Go see it. You will not be disappointed, I promise.
Rocky just can't. He can't stand her working at that pet shop.
No. Going back to what I was saying earlier, you have to appreciate her dedication and loyalty to Rocky.
Also, he wanted the best for her. He doesn't look at this as he always wanted a better life, right? And he got that better life.
Mm-hmm.
But where he gets confused and where it gets convoluted is that Adrian just wanted him. She didn't care where they were living. She didn't care about all the pizzazz and all the money he got and everything. It was all about him
Yeah.
and this family they made. Film Kid says, since I'm a kid and stuff, I can't go to the theaters by myself, which really sucks. And I'm pretty much the only Godzilla fan in my family, so I probably won't have the chance to watch it unless it comes out the streaming before the end of the year.
Gotcha.
Apollo Balboa says, I leaned against that same post that Tommy did when I took Mike's tour. Nice. Mike, you don't know who Mike is. Mike runs the podcast with Stacy, the Rocky Files.
Yeah.
Well, Mike Kunda is does tours in Philly. His own, like he'll take you to all these spots and everything like that. And he came on for Rocky 2 watch along, him and Stacy.
Oh, okay.
Rocky Files. Anyone goes back and watches that, and he just knows everything about this franchise in and out like you would not believe. You just sit back and let Mike talk, and he just freaking goes, man.
Oh boy, is he gonna get bullied? Yeah, your dad sucks. Is that what they're gonna say?
Yeah,
I knew it. The typical bully trope.
it makes sense though. If a famous fighter's son came back to the streets, and they would be picking on him. They would. To see what he was made of. He's got some spite to him, though. He's got some anger to him.
Oh, that's a good way to focus all that anger.
Carol says, I miss being on a live Rocky with Mike and Stacy. Oh, it's a live. It's pre-recorded, but you can go back and watch it. It's awesome. Pause it, watch along with us. David says, good morning, everyone. I'm going to bed. Haha. Nice to meet you, Caleb.
Nice to meet you too, David.
David's 7 hours ahead, so he's in the Netherlands.
Oh, very nice. Hey, you have a good night or good morning.
So now Rocky's running the gym that made him where he started. It's kind of nice, I think.
It's cool.
You got the short dude, Mikey, there.
Yeah, got a passing of the torch, so it's good. Like for running the place. Ooh.
Good night, Ledger. See you, buddy.
Whoa. Damn.
Oh, right on the kisser, that one.
Ooh. Damn.
This ain't no mugging, you know. Does this scene look familiar, everybody? It's very reminiscent of Rocky 1 where he says you're a tomato.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Or when he goes, that relationship between him and Mickey.
Yeah.
It's not the same, but I'm just saying it's kind of he's turning down a kid who he
Potential.
doesn't see the potential in,
Hmm.
right? And I think Rocky sees it right here. You'll see Caleb. I think you could almost done a little flashback there of Rocky
Yeah.
thinking back, or of this looks familiar. Movie Jeff, this setup works well with the small TV. No copyright flags. Yeah, don't jinx me, buddy. I'm kidding. Yeah, so far it's worked out. No sound. Just something so you guys can see a little, so you can follow along a bit if you're not watching along. Yeah, it's working out well. I honestly think it's more enjoyable too when you can actually see it.
Yeah.
Film Kid, Jason, keep watching. Burn Commando, True Lies, Total Recall. I don't know. Is that Burn supposed to be in there? I love Commando, I love True Lies, and I love Total Recall. So
Well, I haven't watched Commando or um, True Lies, but we did watch Total Recall, didn't we?
we did, and I'll be doing it again actually with someone. He's checking you out, Robert.
Okay. I mean, I guess take what you can get, right? Compliments at that age.
I know I wasn't getting any fucking compliments at that age, so
It was hit or miss for me. Still is.
I love it. The old streets, the old tavern.
Yeah.
One thing I really like about this movie. Now, what I'll tell you guys right now, what I don't like is they dropped this storyline of the Parkinson's. He's not shaking anymore. It's like they wrote that in, they dropped it, they just let it go, and I think they should have dived more into Rocky dealing with this, like his
Does this
brain
come
going.
up in the sequel?
No,
That aspect? No. Okay.
no, they completely dropped that. Well, it's in Rocky Balboa. It's 16 years later, and
Okay.
the brain's kind of repaired itself over
Okay.
time. But they could have really they could have done something here, and I think a lot of the work print actually they did have scenes like that,
Hmm.
but they said they were setting him up to be, if he takes one hit, he's going to be get killed, right? It's going to really damage him.
Yeah.
But it's like he's not shaking anymore at all. It was just one little, and Parkinson's doesn't go away like that, or
Yeah.
whatever is happening. That just doesn't go away.
Yeah.
Paul says, Jason, I just sent you pics of the poll. I'll check it out after the stream, buddy. For sure.
Yeah, I can see what you mean about, incorporating some flashbacks. You know, got a got a person here who's ripe with opportunity, potential.
Oh, I know you guys are asking me real quick. Do I burn True Lies, watch Commando, and keep Total Recall? Okay. Oh shit, that's hard, guys. Oh my
Well,
god, those are 3 classics, man.
like I
I don't.
said,
I
I've
wouldn't
only
want.
seen one of the 3, so I can't say for sure.
I wouldn't burn any of those. I'm not answering that. It's my stream. I can do what I want.
Just ask for door number 4, where you keep all of them.
I probably like True Lies the most, maybe. I did a top 10 Arnold movies, so you'd have to check that out because I can't remember where I put everything. Thank God you didn't put Predator in there. Movie. Now he's been wearing that cufflink since part 3.
Yeah.
I believe that.
Damn. This is.
He's got issues.
Hmm. Well, clearly he needs help. He's looking for help, right?
Keep, watch, or burn. True Lies, Total Recall, and Predator. Well, I'm keeping Predator. You know what? I might have to watch True Lies and burn Total Recall, and that's painful because Total Recall is so fucking good.
So from rags to riches, back to rags, but you still feel like you're rich, right?
Yeah.
That'll be like Adrian's perspective.
Adrian is senses something bad's coming. She does not have a good feeling about this fighter. You can see it. Like she's just letting Rocky do what he does, though. No, I did not hear about the flop of Rebel Moon, and I'm a big Zack Snyder fan, so I will never hate on the guy because I really think he makes good movies. I think he gets shit on way too fucking much. Personally,
Yeah,
personally,
I'll say this: that from what I've heard about Rebel Moon, the movie, it could have worked better as a TV series because it does a lot of setting up, but it doesn't have much time to deliver. That's what I've heard.
I heard Zack Snyder wanted to go back and do like Yoda when he was like 400 years old,
Mm-hmm.
like, and I thought, I think Zack Snyder would add, but the thing is, he wouldn't be allowed to do what he needs to do. That's the problem. That's the big issue with Star Wars is I think he would add a new something different to it for sure, but I don't think he'd be allowed to make the decisions he wants.
Well, I mean, I'd be okay as long as whatever he does lines up with what we see. Because one of the issues with prequels is sometimes people add things in that doesn't fit into the established canon, and so they start retconning things.
Yeah.
And for Star Wars, that's a big no-no. Like when Rise of Skywalker decided to add in force healing, as if nobody's ever tried that before in the entire history of Star Wars.
Yeah.
Then again, they've basically nullified what it means to get stabbed in the guts with a lightsaber. Qui-Gon Jinn gets stabbed, he dies within minutes. Um, Character from Kenobi, Reva, she gets stabbed twice in different time periods. Then the Ahsoka series, Sabine gets stabbed. She walks that off pretty much. I mean, I can't take it seriously. That's why I refer to Disney's Star Wars as Disney Wars, because it's not Star Wars to me. This kid still has the jacket. And he has the audacity to, you know what?
Well, we just saw that, he was trying to get his dad's attention, and is it Rocky's focus is on something else right now.
Yeah.
Legend says Jason, Chuck Norris, or Arnold. Oh, I have to go with Arnold, and I love Chuck, man. It's the hard ones.
Yeah.
So this would have been like Stallone would have done Tango and Cash and Lock Up, and he would have went right to Rocky 5 after. That would have This was 1990. This movie.
Still feels like the 80s.
See you, everyone, says Ledger. See you, Ledger.
Have a
Take
good
care,
one,
man. Thanks for joining.
The cops right there. Real funny, asshole.
Here we go. That's where Rocky had his. The first time we met Rocky was in this church. I have not seen The Watchmen all the way through, so I can't comment. I would keep Army of the Dead. I liked Army of the Dead. I thought it was really cool, unique spin on zombies.
I'd keep 300. I like 300. The first one, though, not the sequel.
My son likes this movie. This is his favorite Rocky movie.
Interesting.
Yeah, he says it's unique, Dad. It's very unique. Paula Balboa, bring on the montage. It's not a very good one, unfortunately. The montages suck in this. That's one thing I will not give it. It's the character of Tommy Gunn, and the montages are not great. I'm not big on the rap music, though. I'm more of a traditional Rocky music kind of guy. Even when I was a kid, I didn't like rap music. I'm not big on it. I've grown to like some rap, though.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good songs for sure.
I mean, that's my wife's thing. My wife likes everything, but she really likes dance music and some rap, and she's well versed on a lot of music, actually. It's like my wife with movies; she'll watch anything. I mean, I like to see Rocky training him and everything. It's just this does not work for me. I don't think they're great training montages.
I'm guessing there's not a good Survivor song to go along with this movie, like with the previous films.
No, not really.
Mm.
Apollo Balboa, who would win, Dame or Tommy? I think Tommy would kick Dame's ass, which is Jonathan Majors in Creed 3,
Uh, okay.
which he's actually good in that. Like, I don't really like his character, but I like his acting was really good in it.
Mm.
Film Kid, well, I gotta go, but really quickly subscribe and hit that like button. Yes, everyone. I'd really appreciate it. The channel's been on fire this month, so it's you guys are, I don't know what we've been doing right, but we're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
He's always picking up.
Mm-hmm.
See, he wants the glory back, but he's ignoring what's important, his family, and I like this. This is what a lot of people didn't like. I don't
Mm.
want to dislike Rocky. I don't find I'm disliking him though. I'm looking at him as a real person who real people do this. Trust me, I know. I've been through this. I've done it. I spent so much time on YouTube at one point that this happened to me. So
Well,
this it's
maybe people's gripe has to do with that. Maybe some of his behavior isn't in line with the character. Like when I critique how they portrayed Luke in the Last Jedi, people always say, "Oh, well, a real person would lose hope at some point, and they would go down this sort of path." It's just I understand what you're saying. The thing is, you don't need to apply that logic to every character because not every one person is going to be the same. If you look at
yeah.
how Luke was portrayed in the original trilogy, you would understand that the moment he found out that his friends were in trouble, he would drop everything
But
just to go save them, you know?
but I think this works for Rocky what he's doing because he never wanted to go back to these streets. He
Hmm.
never wanted this for his family. He's hoping this brings him out. He's trying to get that glory again.
Hmm.
Um, he's trying to form a relationship with this character like him and Mickey had, right?
Hmm.
Except for this guy's not Rocky. That's
Yeah.
so I think it's in line with Rocky's character.
Hmm.
So like I said, it's the black sheep of the family. This movie. Stacy says Sage was the best part of this movie. Something about his acting is the only thing that captured the way the other Rockies feel. Love slided pieces, but there's a lot of cheese here. Many tacky moments. Yeah, Sly I find is almost impersonating Rocky rather
Hmm.
than really getting into the character at times. Always like this how his he trained kicks some ass now.
Finally,
Now,
get some
Caleb,
payback, huh?
do you know nothing about this movie?
I know nothing.
Okay, I won't allude to something yet then. But I'll wait for you to find. We'll talk about it near the end.
Okay.
And you see this, guys? That's the way guys are. They can knock the shit out of each other, shake hands, and say, "Okay, I'll see you Monday morning. Let's have some fun." That's see, this is a great moment where Rocky should have been very proud and very.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I see.
you're kind of like Rocky. What are you doing? What are you doing? But you're also like understanding that he doesn't see it. Like when you've been there, when you've been so focused on something, and your family's kind of been on the uh secondary,
Yeah.
you don't realize it's happening. It's something that's
Hmm.
and he doesn't realize it. He thinks he's actually doing something good for the family.
Yeah.
Apollo Balboa, bring on the second montage. Yep, we're there.
In such a short period of time, too.
Oh, this would have been over 3 years. He goes and Tommy Gunn has like 25 fights or something, or maybe 18 fights. That would take like 3 years.
Mm.
You know, like at the most, you'd fight 6 times in a year coming up. Of course, they're calling him Balboa's bomber. He's under the
Mm.
thumb of Balboa.
Okay.
Notice that the flag shorts are missing the stars. I didn't really notice. No, you're
Really?
right though. They're different, kind of. They're not Apollo shorts.
Hmm. I see the issue. Families getting neglected.
Yeah.
This
I
guy's
love this
like,
though. Look what Adrian does with the piece of paper. Bird shit. He puts it under the bird cage for it to shit on. And Tommy Gunn's not liking being under Rocky's um shadow, like under the shadow. He's not really getting identified as his own, him being unique or anything.
yeah.
Melissa Balboa says Jennifer Flavin is in the montage. Is she really? I never noticed her. Oh, there she is. She's that girl on the left in the magazines, which is Sly's wife. If you didn't know
Oh,
that, Caleb.
nice.
I don't know when he met Jennifer, when Sly met her, but Melissa Balboa says, "Oh, in red dress with her sisters." Oh, okay. Yeah, this Tommy character is just weak. Just doesn't see any angles. He doesn't see what this guy's doing.
Well, maybe it's because he's just obsessed with the attention, which is why he's getting frustrated that Rocky's getting all the attention still and not him. I mean, I get it. Like you work really hard to get where you are, but you're still not being recognized other than being somebody else's, you
Hmm.
know, like sort of tool. It's just my mentality would be, hey, I'm training with one of the best boxers, of most famous boxers. I'd say that's a pretty good honor enough as it is, you know. Like the ego, you know, like
Yep.
I guess this character Tommy, he's just got a really big ego. I mean, he had an opportunity because he was begging for help, and then he gets a taste of the freedom and the popularity, and suddenly it's like, oh well, I should be getting more recognition than Rocky does.
I told you it was a told you it was a Christmas
That's
movie.
we just watched this one too a couple weeks ago. Christmas Vacation.
Apollo Balboa says best trainer, Mickey, Duke, Apollo, or Rocky. Oh man, they're all good trainers.
Mm-hmm.
Um, man, Mickey, man, I don't know. I like Mickey.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you need that tough, stern, real hard ass love to really succeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's manipulated so easily.
Yeah.
Stacy says the mullet. I know. So funny, isn't it? Nothing complex about it. You just want to get rich.
Yeah. That was some pretty cheesiness right there.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Jesus, that beard.
Choppy.
Laundry.
Stacy says, "Poor Robert." Yeah. Look at Adrian's look. She goes, "Fuck! I knew this was coming."
Yeah. Well, I mean, Rocky's been neglecting the child. What do you expect? Ooh, here we go. Here we go.
Yeah. Stacy says, "Adrian's face. She knows her son."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody gonna tell him what he's been doing?
He still doesn't see it. He doesn't realize what's even happened.
Leave it to the drunk to tell some truth.
Yeah.
Mm.
I can feel. I know what Rocky's going through, man.
Mm.
Like, I won't go into it too much, but I got rid of my old channel for a reason.
Mm.
Because I spent so much time on it, I just couldn't even watch the channel anymore. So I deleted it and rebranded it, reasserted myself, reorganized myself, balanced everything out, what I like to do and what's important. And this channel's been way more successful too. So where it's all worked out. Apollo Balboa, better Adrian moment, Rocky 3 beach or the Rocky 5 street speech? Oh, I got to go Rocky 3, but it's coming up, this speech they're talking about.
Okay.
Very good.
Man, this should be like breaking and entering.
Yeah, Stacy's right. The snakes arrive. Yeah,
Mm.
absolutely. That's what they are. Just snakes. Look at the look Adrian's giving these people. It's just, I love it. Just love her so much in this movie.
Tommy's girl there has a very mistrusting face.
Yeah. Well, that's what this guy did. Weighed money at him, weighed girls at him. Just this happens more often than you think to someone learning something from an expert
Yeah,
and just like dropping his ass and like remember who got you there. Like remember who gave you the opportunity in the
yeah,
first place. It'd be like Rocky dropping Mick's ass.
yeah,
I mean, how well, like how we would have not have liked Rocky, and if that's what would
yeah.
have happened. See what he's doing? He's already done it. Like
Yeah.
Apollo says, Mike says that this neighborhood today is so dangerous he doesn't drive through it anymore. Wow,
I believe it.
crazy.
I don't want to be in any major city these days.
I
Like,
can't stand. I can't
you,
stand crowds, so I don't want to. Either.
how much I wanted to visit LA,
Yeah,
get to see like the shots from Terminator, but these
yeah.
days no thanks. You go to LA, make sure you don't bring anything of value because it's going to get stolen in broad daylight.
Yeah, those scenes from Terminator would be fun to revisit, though. Yeah, this is a good point, Stacy. Adrian sees the freight train long before Rocky even realizes he's standing on the tracks with his son, with Tommy. All of it, absolutely, I agree.
Yeah.
Scumbag, man.
Damn.
He's just not a very charismatic villain either, though. Like
Yeah.
Tommy Gunn.
So where's Drago for all this?
I don't know.
I mean, do we ever get to see Drago again, or is it just like,
Well, you have to watch Creed 2,
oh, okay,
which he's really good in it. I
okay,
suggest watching Creed 1. I suggest watching all of them, but I'm not doing watch-alongs of the Creed movies. We're just gonna go to Rocky 6.
hmm.
To me, it's the it's the um. It just ended so good, Rocky Bubble,
Hmm.
which you'll find out later.
Hmm.
You got to feel for Rocky too. All those beatings he took and everything.
Yeah,
He got himself a good life, and he's back where he started. Like it's almost like he did all these fights for nothing.
yeah.
It's fantastic.
Hmm.
all it takes, man, to center yourself again. Yeah, Paula says Oscar-worthy scene. Yeah, she was brilliant in this movie. She really was. Stacy says a little sly rage comes through. Yeah.
Oh shit! Here we go.
Adding some humor in there. They're really good together too. Sly and his son here.
Yeah.
Some great blue lighting on his hat there.
Yeah.
He was also in Daylight with Stallone.
Mhm.
Stallone did a film called Daylight. Sage is in that.
Mhm.
And he wanted him back for Rocky Balboa to play his son, his
Mhm.
grown up version. But I think his son was too busy at the time to do it.
That sucks.
Yeah. But the guy who plays him is really good, though.
Hmm.
And when you end up watching Rocky Balboa, the sixth one,
Mhm.
um, or no, Creed one, where Apollo Creed's son wants Rocky to train him.
Mhm.
He says no at first, and he goes like, "Well, you're gonna be at Mickey's gym," and he goes, "I don't go there no more. I don't do that stuff anymore." So
Mhm.
he really did keep this promise of not getting back into that for like a long, long time.
Mhm. Lock the door and hide the kids. The Clone Ranger.
Lone Ranger. But keep in mind, this is supposed to be a championship fight.
Okay.
What you're about to see here.
No, I wouldn't give him a break. Considering what he just pulled with the car.
Uh, Look at Sly's forearms. Unreal. Yeah. Now Sly was in good shape then too.
Yeah.
Stacy says I think one of the biggest problems with Rocky Five is casting. A different set of actors could have made this much better because the script itself is good. Yeah, I think
Mm.
so. I think casting was a big issue.
Mm.
A little bit of campiness to it too.
Yeah.
I always liked Rocky punching the bag while they're fighting here.
Yeah. Can't believe he's still holding on after what he just pulled.
Well, he was attached to the kid. It's because Rocky has such a big heart.
Yeah.
This ain't a championship fight. This is lousy. When Rocky went 15 rounds, he went 15 rounds. Like
Yeah.
he did. He's living vicariously through Tommy. That's what's happening. Like,
Yeah.
I love Polly. I love Polly in this.
And I... I knew it was coming. I knew
Yep.
it was coming.
Poor Rocky though.
Using his own words to bitch slap him in the face. Yeah. My angel on the shoulder. Well, you know what they say about the Duke? He's a number one. I'm sorry if you watched Escape from New York, you remember that. Fuck, dude, that hits close to home for me because I like drawing.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
right there, that yeah. That hits close to home for me. That's really nice. Shit, man, I would have let that go right away.
Well, you don't really see the passage of time. That he would have been invested in that relationship for like 3 years.
Yeah,
Like it doesn't happen, and like he didn't get a title shot like right away, like Rocky. He actually worked his way up to the top.
yeah.
That would have been a long time to. It'd be almost like taking an apprentice on. You know what I mean? Like on a
Hmm.
5-year apprenticeship, and them dumping your ass.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense though because by the time Rocky got his championship, he was beat the fuck up
Yeah.
several times. But look at
At least he
him.
says he really wears those jeans. She must mean Sly.
Hmm.
I wish I looked that good in jeans. The best. He beat the best. You're not getting respect, my friend. You are not
Yeah.
getting any respect. Rocky Balboa, you'll never be. Love it. Paula Balboa says, love the tracksuit. Melissa Balboa, Sly is hot in this. You go, ladies. Tell us how you really feel. The floor is yours.
No, seriously. Have Tommy go up against Drago and see how well he does.
I love how the press is giving him shit. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
No need for sorry, Stacy. It's all right. We all love Sly. I wish I looked like him.
Okay.
Yeah, this character's over the top. He's almost from a cartoon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm just waiting for
This
him to
Duke.
twirl that mustache of his.
Rocky Fight State. He's such a crappy actor. The promoter. Yeah, he's not directed well though either. Like the tone's not right.
What the hell is this? A public display of BS? Yeah, it's the Grinch who's trying to steal Christmas.
This ain't no pie eating contest. No freaking class. Could you imagine the guy who
Yeah.
got you coming? Man, Stacy said Caleb was funny. Funny to watch someone see it for the first time. Yeah, we live and breathe this stuff for so many years, Caleb. So it's kind of like we always like to get
Oh,
a fresh
well,
watch.
we have a bit of a history, don't we, with me and reactions on your channel? Look at the coat he's wearing. That should tell you everything. That thing was so cheap.
Oh, I love Polly here. Oh shit.
Oh,
Now, Caleb, this is the fact that it's a street fight. A lot of people didn't like. That's one of
Mhm.
the I like it. I thought it was different, and it's true to the character's roots. Rocky.
Well, considering what just happened, I don't see how you could have waited for a ring fight. This looks like one of those situations where
Well,
you
the
had to take
narrative
care of
had to
it.
be the narrative would have had to been twisted around,
Yeah.
but and that's Rocky Five watch party for everyone. Thank you for joining us. Melissa Barbosa, I do love Rocky's reaction. His line there, one of my favorite. Oh yeah, love
Mhm.
it. You knocked him down. Why don't you try knocking me down now? Love
Well, watch out.
it.
Watch out. Watch out.
See, this was supposed to be a lot. This should have been a lot more tense because, but they dropped the whole part and his hand shaking,
Yeah.
so you don't feel like Rocky's really in that much danger where you should be. That's another little issue with the writing. That's more in the
Mhm.
writing. This is great though. Subway going, everything right in freaking Philly, man.
Now everybody's watching.
Hey Kyle, what's going on? He says, "Hey
What's
Jason,
going
Caleb."
on? Damn.
I do like your kind of. You see how the camera's shaking a bit,
Uh
as if
huh.
we're in Rocky's perspective. He's kind of disorientated. I think
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
Well, I can see why people don't like this movie. I mean, so far I'm enjoying it.
Yeah,
Like,
but it's not a dumpster fire, right?
yeah, yeah. I haven't seen anything that would qualify for being on the dumpster, for example.
Yeah, you would know. You watched the.
Yeah.
That's what you,
Watching garbage is practically part of my career on this website. Shit, some of these visuals look remind me of Rambo.
yeah, yeah,
All you got to do is just have Sly say, "You just don't turn it off.
yeah,
Nothing is over."
yeah. You're kind of right.
I can see how
I
this would have probably worked better in the
I
ring.
don't. I just don't like the music here behind this. That you're gonna hear. They go for more of
Yeah.
the rap. I think it should have went more triumphant. Um, but I like how. Keep in mind, Rocky was a street fighter. I like how he starts incorporating not just boxing here. He grew up on these streets, man.
Hmm. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, this ain't no boxing match. This is like Mortal Kombat stuff, you know?
I still enjoy this movie, man. I really do like it. Yeah, I really
Get
think I
the
really
fuck
li-
out of here.
I would really like to see Stallone cut this movie, recut it.
Hmm.
Paulo Bobo says the work print fight is much better. No rules on the street, Stacy says.
Hmm.
Right? There we go. Now we're getting shit done.
Oh,
Jab, jab.
He took my room.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Now Stallone has admitted that he would have liked to seen the fight in the ring himself. Even
I
he
can see
compares it.
why.
He compares it to, like, would you go see like a big like Daytona in a cornfield? Daytona race in a cornfield,
I mean, if I
like,
was drunk, yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I think it works. I like seeing Rocky in the street, in a street fight. I think it works for me.
I see it as like a callback to where he came from
Yeah, like,
because you don't really get to see this much, you know. We see plenty of Rocky fighting in the ring, but we don't see him fighting on the street, you know.
yeah, and it changed things up a bit.
Yeah.
Made it a little more unique. This one, a different flavor.
I mean, I'll say this that changing up the formula doesn't work every time in an established franchise because mainly because it's being done wrong or they do something so drastic that it it forgets where it came from. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
the filmmakers make a monumental change that is just completely against what the franchise
yeah,
once put out. If that makes sense.
yeah. And Sly also didn't like the reason he made Rocky Balboa because he didn't like the way this just ended and where he left off, where he left
Mhm.
the character off here. So, and Rocky Ball is a perfect ending to the character. Of course, Creed opened up that can of worms again, but to a certain point. I don't have anything.
The preacher.
Yeah. Film still works for me, guys. Even though it's my least favorite Rocky movie, it still works for me.
The statue.
It's beautiful.
It's a nice view.
Yeah. I almost feel like looking back at this that they could have in the 90s. I mean, Stallone was really big at that time, so he wouldn't have just went to TV. But
Yeah.
doing a TV series of Robert growing up in Philly and maybe trying out boxing himself and Rocky, this relationship and everything, and like for a teenagers,
I mean,
like a teenager show.
you could probably do that now. Do like a Rocky TV series continuation. I mean, I guess you sort of have that with Creed. I mean, it's in movie form, but yeah,
Apollo Balboa says, "I ran those steps. Piece of heaven." I bet, man. I
nice.
would love to. It's the most iconic landmark in movies cinema for me.
Hmm.
Like, who doesn't know what that is?
Yeah,
Well, I'm sure glad they didn't kill him in that fight.
yeah,
They're going to.
yeah. That would have been a dark ending.
This is kind of a cool montage. Good Elton John song.
Almost makes me want to binge these movies back to back.
Hmm. So, what do you think, Caleb?
No, I liked it. It was good. I can see why people have this as like one of their least favorites. Though I think that it has a nice has some nice callbacks to the first one and kind of brings Rocky back to his roots. I mean, it was kind of weird not seeing him in the ring boxing, but we had 4 movies of him boxing in the ring. It was nice to get something a little different. Um, yeah, I liked it. It was good.
Yeah, I didn't think you'd hate it.
Yeah,
I kind of
no,
noticed.
no.
I
I
mean,
mean,
there was no agenda pushing in 1990s.
yeah. Or if there was there, they didn't have it as in your face as they do today.
And Stallone doesn't really make movies that do that anyway. So,
Yeah. Yeah, no, I liked it though. Pretty good.
all right, guys, I will. I'll open up the floor for questions. If anyone wants to ask questions, you're not going to. You're not going to see me live for a while. I want to get some. I still want to finish the Rambo review series before the end of the year. But you'll see me just not live. I won't be live until the new year again. Well, we starting watch parties on Sunday afternoons and stuff. So, Stacy says, "Great live. Have a great night, guys. You too, Stacy.
Hey,
Take
you
care."
have a good one, Stacy. It was nice to meet you.
Melissa Balboa says, "Enjoyed this. Thank you." Apollo says, "Caleb, what's your favorite film of all time?"
Ooh, that's a tough one because for me, I have a few films that I would consider to be my favorite of all time. First one would be the original Predator. Um, Second would be Terminator. Hey, Melissa. Yeah, hey, I really enjoyed it. It was really good. But no, so Predator, uh, the original Terminator, I hold that one pretty high. Godzilla, as in the original '54 film, I hold that one as one of my favorites of all time. Um, there's a few others, but my range of movies, like I can't out of those. Let's just say out of those, I can't pick which one I love the most because for me, those franchises, I grew up with them. Like I watch those films religiously, especially Godzilla and Predator. Like those were the two biggest franchises that I watched consistently, and I I remember so much about it. I remember a lot of the good times I had. I remember some people in my school, like when I was in like middle school, people were always telling me, "Oh, you all you talk about is like Godzilla." It's like I, I'm sorry, I just love the franchise so much. You have no idea. Um, but yeah, I mean it's a toss up. Predator, Terminator, Godzilla, just to name off a few. Um, on the channel, on our channel, Dark Ether Files podcast, we've talked about this a little bit. We've had similar questions, in regards for like favorite franchises and such. I mean, if you go to our channel, J Man has joined us for Terminator and Predator discussions. Like literally both of those times we've had J Man on, literally those were 4-hour streams. We sat down for 4 hours talking Terminator and Predator. It
Oh
was
yeah, oh yeah.
yeah.
Let's adjust my mic here a bit. Paula Balboa says, "I'm meeting the cast of Terminator in January at
Oh,
Comic Con." Oh man, that would be save your money, dude. That would be awesome. I missed Linda Hamilton a few years ago. She was here, and I just kicked myself in the ass. I wish I should have. Next
I
time,
I
next time
really
she's
want
here,
to
man.
I really want to meet Michael Bean.
Yeah, me too. I would love to. Melissa says, "That's how I am with the Rocky movies. My family and friends think I'm insane."
Hey, you know
Yeah,
what? I can understand and appreciate the dedication you have to the franchise. I mean, let me put it into perspective. So, my whole exposure to cinema, especially with the classic films, is because of my dad. Like full credit to him. He put so many classic movies in front of me, some of which I may have been too young to be watching, but he said, "Screw it, we're doing it anyway." Um,
love it.
I I think that he might have shown me the first Rocky at some point when I was younger, but I can't remember it. Like I can't. But Rambo, I remember like back in 20, I want to say 2009, 2010. I have a photo which I need to find again, but I was so into the original First Blood that I had my dad take a picture of me in one of his old army jackets, and I had one of his old duffel bags with a pirate bandana, posing like Rambo when he was walking on the road. Um, I listened to the song "It's a Long Road" religiously on the way to school. Like I would have my dad play that song for me every day, basically when I would get to school. I love the character of Rambo. I love the original First Blood. I love Stallone. He's a great actor. I'd like to meet him one day. It's one of the things on my list. But yeah, appreciate it. I appreciate it. We got stuff going. We got mainly. I'll say this: what you'll find on our channel mostly is lots of watch-alongs. I'm getting slowly back into the swing of doing videos. If you're a horror fan, I'm going to be doing a Hellraiser review series where I'm just going to be going through all the Hellraiser films. I've only seen 3 of the Hellraiser films: the first 2, and then the most recent one.
You got, yeah, me too. I've seen the first one, the second one, but it was been so long,
Yeah.
and the new one, which surprisingly, I started watching the new one, and I wasn't digging it, but as it went on, I started liking it more. Like, and I liked the lead girl. I thought
Mhm.
she was actually quite good.
Yeah.
I think that's me. I think I like that movie a bit more than other people though. That's but it's not fantastic by any means, but I thought, not too bad.
Well, this is what I've been told. After Hellraiser 3, like I mean, even including Hellraiser 3 to some extent, but
It goes
after
downhill.
Hellraiser 3, things go downhill. And from
Yeah.
what I've been told, the newest Hellraiser is a big step up from all the really bad sequels. So we're going to find out. There's going to be first time watches whenever I do watch them. And of course, I'll give my thoughts. But if you guys like Halloween, I just recently, and by recent I mean a couple months ago, but I did a huge collab with a bunch of other YouTubers, and it was called the Hollow Scream Review Series, where we looked at all the Halloween films leading up to Halloween Ends. So those reviews are up on the channel. But I did post a I believe it's over an hour or 2 hours. It's basically a collab of all the reviews in one video, so you don't have to go through the individual videos. But yeah, mainly watch-alongs, but that's slowly changing. I'm going to be incorporating um, more videos. I'm actually uploading a video right now of a spoiler discussion between myself and one of my co-hosts. We talked about Godzilla -1. That one is about an hour long, roughly. So if you want to sit through that, feel free. It should be uploading here shortly. But yeah, expect more videos though. Expect more videos. I'm slowly working it into my schedule.
Uh, uh, Paul Volvo, Chris is his name, says, Caleb, do we need one more Rambo?
I would say no, because for me, I don't include Last Blood in my head canon. For me, Rambo ended with John Rambo, the 5th film, because of that ending, where it picks up where he's on the road again, just like he was in the original First Blood, looking very similar too. And then he finally gets home. For me, that is a really good closure. For
I thought it's,
me,
yeah, it is.
Last Blood opened up a wound that didn't need to be opened. Um, it could have worked if it was before John Rambo.
You know what I was thinking today?
Mhm.
Because I knew you guys have you on, and for some reason I was thinking about Last Blood. I'm also reviewing it soon, so I was thinking about this. I think they skipped past the most interesting part is that Rambo integrating himself back into a domesticated life.
Mhm.
That would have been, I think, would have been really interesting because that would almost been like that. That would not have come overnight for him.
Yeah.
like, and a lot of people don't realize too is that his father was being taken care of by this that old woman in it.
Hmm.
And when he died, she just started taking care of Rambo.
Yeah.
And then he started, but they kind of skipped past it a bit. I think if they would have showed you how he integrated himself within this family and everything, instead of just going, "Oh, here it is. Here's his adopted daughter here," and gave you a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, for me, I look at Last Blood as an optional path to go on because, truth be told, you didn't need Last Blood. Like
No.
again, that ending, it seals the book. I didn't need to see Rambo again. The only thing I can say that I enjoyed about Last Blood was the final act where he's just taking out all the
Fuck.
guys, because that reminds me of John Rambo. I mean, that movie was gory as hell, and they upped the gore on this one as well to some
Well, like
extent.
a lot of people say, I could take it as a good Stallone action film.
Yeah.
That's the way they
And
look
but
at it.
for me, Rambo ended with John Rambo. He gets home. He has a quasi happy ending. I don't need to know anything else. His story arc is complete from First Blood all the way to John Rambo.
Melissa says yes. People rip on Stallone as an actor. He's very good and knows what audiences want. Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
And she follows up with, "That's how I feel about the Creeds. Rocky Balboa finished it off perfectly." Yeah, well, once we get Caleb back on to do that last one, I'm going to talk about that because as much as I do like Creed 1, even Creed 2, it opened up a can. It opened up Rocky to like, well, they already closed that off. They already sended it off, and it's almost like they did the same thing.
Yeah.
Um, John Rambo was great, super intense and violent, but great. Oh
It
yeah,
had it had
it's not an enjoyable watch Rambo for. It's not like enjoyable in the sense that like Rambo 2 is like, oh
yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, this is a movie that you're like, thank God I'm not near a war.
Well, let
Like
me
I
put it
can't
to you
believe.
this way. Yeah, let me put it to you this way. John Rambo takes something that was happening back then. It takes a real event that was happening, and of course, they did the sort of Hollywood theatrics with it. But it was nice to get something that was reminiscent of like Rambo 2, where Vietnam. Yeah, Vietnam is over, but people still have that fresh in their minds in the
Yeah,
80s. So they sort of do that same thing here. And what I really like is how they got some of the actors were actual rebels that fought in that
yeah,
conflict in Burma. So
in
adding
Burma, yeah,
to that sort of real, authenticness, an authentic feel to the film where you have the people that actually, went through that. Um, and see, because for me, this is what I do, guys. Certain movies, and I've done this as a kid, and I still do it now, where I'll watch a movie and then I'll imagine, what if this character was in it? Like, if you guys have ever watched the movie Apocalypto, fantastic film by Mel Gibson, by the way. I asked the question, what happens? What would have happened if you put a predator in Apocalypto? And then, of course, we got that somewhat with Prey.
great,
Um,
yeah,
I don't think it was as good as Apocalypto from like the sort of native story. With that said, it was still decent. I didn't hate Prey. It had some moments where I was like, eh. But for me, John Rambo was that sort of situation where you have like a movie that focuses on um okay, what's that movie with Mark Wahlberg? I think it was called Soul Survivor, where
Lone
Lone
Survivor, yeah, yeah,
Survivor, yeah.
yeah, good
So
movie.
yeah, so you take a situation like that where you have a character or characters that are in this hopeless situation, and then you throw someone in like Rambo, right? This quasi invincible action hero, and how would he respond to it? How would he handle the situation? And that's how I see John Rambo is that sort of idea where you take a situation that is practically hopeless because you're outnumbered, you're in a foreign land, all this bad stuff is going on, but then you get sort of ace in the hole, that being Rambo, where he has all this war experience, all this pent up rage and aggression, and he gives no fucks, and he just eliminates everything, and it's enjoyable. It's one of those movies where it's an intense action film that you can sit back and watch and have some fun with, and at the same time, it has a good story behind it. Where it also has Rambo's good story too, because you feel like he's lost still. Like after Rambo 3, he just walks off. It's kind of like, oh no, that's Rambo 2. I'm sorry. I
Rambo
have,
2.
yeah,
You haven't
Rambo.
seen yeah, we were going to do Rambo 3
I
together.
haven't watched
Oh,
Rambo 3. That's right. Rambo 2, where he walks off. Like for me, if I were to go from First Blood to First Blood Part 2 and then to John Rambo, it would feel kind of fitting because he's in Vietnam. So my idea is, okay, he never left Asia. He's been in that area ever
yeah.
since.
Yeah.
And so, for me, it's like, okay, he feels lost. And now with the ending of John Rambo, he finally gets home. He
Well,
finally gets to go home.
he also realizes, like, I'm a soldier and I got to be into the fight for other people.
Yeah.
Like when he tells the guy, like, there's not a one place we'd all rather be right now, but this is who we are and this is what we do.
Yeah.
Right?
Live for nothing or die for
Die
something.
for something, right?
Your call.
Uh,
I love
um,
that line. I love that line.
Deadhead says Last Blood doesn't feel like a Rambo movie. Yeah, that's the biggest complaint a lot of people make is that
Well, let me
it
put it to
doesn't
you.
quite because Rambo's always in a war zone. He's always in some kind of conflict on a bigger scale.
Let me put
This
it to
was
you this way. When he's sneaking around that, the complex trying to get to his daughter, he's making so many mistakes that the Rambo I know wouldn't do. And some people have argued that, well, because he's not as sharp in his old age. It's just certain things you don't turn it off. The line, you just don't turn it off. There are certain things that are ingrained in you that
yeah.
you just don't forget because it's practically muscle memory. And even if you take that out, common sense dictates, okay, I'm in a hostile environment where there are most likely armed people, and I'm walking out in the open so casually, and I'm not even armed. I mean,
And you're not wrong. Like you made me think about that too. But whenever I watch it, I just get the feeling that he's almost like I don't have fucking time, right? I just don't have time. I got to get to her, but it does feel strange when he starts being surrounded. Like what the fuck? What did I do?
Yeah,
Like,
it just
like
doesn't feel like Rambo, considering what we've seen him in similar situations. I mean, he goes on a revenge rampage in First Blood
because
Part 2.
considering how organized he is in the third act,
Yeah,
that
I
was
mean,
all
it
because he
just
prepped.
yeah.
That's all because he prepped,
I mean,
right?
you would. I mean, I understand the idea that he's in a rush, and when it's family, you're rushing. I get it. It's just there are better ways that the film could have handled it. Um, and again, that's even getting past the whole point that we didn't need it. You know,
Right.
so I can enjoy the last part of the film, but after that, I just or before that, to get to that point, it's a chore. It is a chore. It's
Oh,
not.
I
It's
don't
not the
find it.
worst.
I don't
It's not.
find it a chore. I find it enjoyable, but
It's not
um,
the worst thing I've seen. It's
but
just it was more disappointing
disappointing.
than
Yeah,
straight up dumpster fire for me.
yeah.
Like there are elements to be had that were good in isolation. It's just for a Rambo film, no, not for me. Not for me.
Uh, Chris says, Caleb, thoughts on Commando?
I've never seen it.
It's
I have.
100%. It's it's one man against an army like Rambo 2. It's Arnold's version of going in. He has to save his daughter from these people who want him to do a job, right?
Mhm.
And they want him to do this job, and so he has so much time to do it. He gets like he was supposed to go on this plane and kill this guy. He doesn't do that, and so he has like 9 hours to find them and get his daughter back. It's awesome. It's just freaking one-liners. Arnie at his freaking best. Bill Duke's in it. It's got a great cast, and it's yeah, you definitely got to watch Commando sometime.
So many movies I have to watch, guys. It's no
Yeah,
joke when I say um, and I had to do my own watch along series called My First Time because
yeah.
yeah.
Melissa Balboa, when I watch John Rambo, I thank God I don't live in those conditions, right?
Yeah, for real.
God.
Yeah.
I love the guy who's getting under Rambo's skin all the time, the bald guy.
Yeah.
And then when he gets his leg kind of blown off, and at the end he goes, "Have a go at me, you fucking wanker!" And
Yeah. Yeah.
he was so redeemable. That guy, love him. Um, Tim, what's up going on? Tim, what's going on, buddy? He says, "What's up, J man? How you doing?"
I like Schoolboy and John Rambo.
Yeah, he was cool too. Chris says, Jason and Caleb, is there a film you hated at first but have grown to love? Oh yeah, I just
Hmm.
can't think of one off the top. Hated but grown to love. I don't know about hate, but oh, the first one that comes to mind. Unbreakable did not work for me when I first watched that film. M. Night Shyamalan's Unbreakable.
Hmm.
But after I watched it, then I started going, shit, this is a really good take on a comic book film, as if comic book heroes were exaggerated and they do exist, but in this real grounded, gritty way, like how Bruce Willis was just very strong. And I just got the film after a few watches. It really just started resonating with me.
Yeah.
And that was one. I just didn't get it. I didn't hate it, but I was like, damn, I like it. And I really like it now. I think Unbreakable is a great movie.
For me, I'd have to say Halloween 3 Season of the Witch. At first, I wasn't one of those people that was upset that there was no Michael Myers. See, because for me, my introduction to horror was actually very recent. I mean, it's not so recent right now, but I didn't get into horror films like I do now until about 2017. So my exposure to a lot of these popular franchises that people have just talked to death about, I have only been experiencing recently. So now I will say this, that like John Carpenter, there was one film that I watched of his when I was a kid, which was also religiously watched, which also scarred me as a child and still technically scars me to this day. That would be John Carpenter's The Fog.
That's a good one.
That movie scared the shit out of me as a kid, and it still gets me nervous. Like, I love the film. I can watch it just fine. With that said, I always have that weird lingering feeling in the back of my head about fog. Like, it creeps me out. Fog creeps me out. Just because of that movie.
Melissa says, well, this was a great live. Nice to meet you, Caleb. Thanks again, Jason. Have a great night. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you too, Melissa. Have a great
Yep. It
holiday.
was,
I hope to see you again in the new year in the chat. Got a big year coming up on the channel for sure. So if you follow me on Instagram it's at btcinema. I do a lot on Instagram. I'm drawing away from Facebook because I just don't have a following on Facebook, but I'm starting to think about doing more lives on Instagram as well. So yeah, I hope to see you in the new year for sure.
yeah, it was nice to meet you, Melissa.
Tim says, sorry, late to the party, but agree, no part of watching John Rambo is a chore.
Oh yeah, no, John Rambo is fine. We were talking about Last Blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, Last Blood for me, watching the everything but the ending where he's just gunning everybody down.
The reason why, well, my ranking will be soon. Will be hopefully before the new year. You'll see that I just like Last Blood because of it's I just like that version of Rambo, and I like that version of the grittiness is back.
Mhm.
Whereas Rambo 2 and Rambo 3, he became like this cartoon, and it just really knocks the movie back a lot when it's like that. But you know what? The last time I reviewed Rambo 2 recently, and I really enjoyed it this time. Like I always enjoy it when I'm not dumping on any of these movies. I like every Rambo movie. I
Yeah.
have a enjoyment at all. It's like the Rocky series. I enjoy them all. There's some I enjoy better.
Yeah.
Melissa says, "Yep, see you next year. You take care." Chris says, "Caleb, Return of the Jedi. Does Vader block Luke's strike at the Emperor to protect Palpatine or protect Luke from embracing the dark side?"
You could say it's a bit of both, and here's why. Because at that point, Vader is now conflicted. Like he's more so conflicted than he was at the end of Empire, because when he found out that his son is alive, he it was all about trying to get him to join the dark side. But after their little conversation on Endor, and Vader's just he's just resting, looking out into the distance. He's contemplating things.
Yeah,
So you could argue that it's a little bit of both. I mean, on the surface level, he's just protecting his master. Sure. At the same time, you could say that Anakin part of him was like, no, don't make the same mistake I did with Count Dooku in Revenge of the Sith. Now, obviously, that movie didn't exist when they did that scene, but with the context of the first three movies, you could say, he's making sure Luke doesn't, make the same mistake that he did. You could look at it either way.
yeah.
I mean, it's fun to contemplate that. Yeah, Vader's like, no, don't do what I did. Of course, then the rest of the movie, or the rest of the scene plays out where he's watching Palpatine kill his son, and by the way, I think that Lucas messed up that scene when he decided to put in in the more recent version of the film where he has Vader shouting no. That ruined the scene. Like, for me, the silence was golden. We didn't need Vader to look down and say no. It just brings up Revenge of the Sith, the ending where he's
Yeah, I
just
hate that
screaming.
part of it. I hate when Vader said no. Um, Apollo says, I didn't hate Rise of Skywalker. Thoughts? Well, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Like, I don't really hate anything. Especially when I review things, I have to look at the good and the bad. But
Let me just
in a nutshell, I think The Last Jedi made decisions that were so far off in left field that J.J. Abrams had to come back and go, well, fuck, how do I get fans back and do something that makes so, and I think he just did the best he could for what he without having to retcon everything.
Let me just say this: if you're a fan of the sequel trilogy, you may not like the channel. I mean, when we don't talk about Star Wars, you'll probably have a good time. But let me just say this: that everyone on our channel, we are not sequel trilogy fans. I don't hate Rise of Skywalker as much as I do The Last Jedi. With that said, no. The mere fact that they brought back the Emperor was dumb. Like, we don't get a proper explanation. The only line of dialogue that we get that explains how Palpatine returned is a line that was originally used in Revenge of the Sith. And for me, it was just used as a cheap little nostalgia key jangling thing. I think Vader's always cool, even before he became Vader.
And
Yeah,
says
of
a
course.
like I think it was always full of conflict even before he became Vader. Oh yeah. And
Like,
Hayden Christensen played that really well for the most part.
For all the faults of the prequel trilogy, I think that the idea that Anakin came from he came from nothing, and his one attachment was his mother, and then she dies, and then his next attachment is his love, who then has children. So at the end of the day, it was all about trying to protect the people he cared about, and he was just getting shat on at every turn from from the people that were supposed to be supporting him in the Jedi Order. And that's why it made it so easy for him to turn to the dark side through Palpatine's influence, because the attention that he should have been getting was coming more from Palpatine rather than through Kenobi, you could say. I mean, Kenobi obviously did a good job in training him with the Force and such. It's just there wasn't enough.
Yeah.
They were doing more beating him down than building him up.
I'm gonna answer my opinion on this before you do, Caleb, because I'll let you run with this one. But Caleb, how does Disney go into a Star Wars trilogy without a plan? Seems unfathomable. This is my thing. I'm gonna compare it to something. That's the one of my favorite new trilogies is Planet of the Apes, which we're getting a fourth one. Um, J.J. Abrams is a very good person who can set something up. In my opinion, I like what he did with Star Trek. I like what he's done with his other movies. I can guarantee you, if you got this guy alone and said, "Is the Last Jedi what you envision?" he would say, "Absolutely fucking not." And because all the pieces are there, you can see what he was. Yes, it was familiar territory. Yes, it felt like, that's that's another argument, but he put pieces in play that look what you could do now. Here's I don't. He would have never killed Snoke if he was directing and writing. He would have never. Um, he would have saw you would have saw Luke training Ray. I think it would have been a not that you couldn't do something different with it, but they just didn't have. They didn't know what the hell they were. They didn't have the fact that you bring a director on for this one, the second one is even that. It's not a. It's not the end of the world, but what's his name? Ryan Johnson forgot what sandbox he was playing in, and like there's certain things you have to stay within this sandbox, and he went fucking. He went out there. Now, Matt Reeves takes over Planet of the Apes for Dawn of the Apes. Great fucking movie. He continues with his vision with War of the Apes. And apparently there's the new director for the fourth one, but they said this is still Matt Reeves's vision. Like he still had like they bring people in who just ignore and says, okay, just do it. Kathleen Kennedy said, do what the fuck you want. We don't care. That's what it seems like anyway. Right? And it felt that's just my 2 cents. But Caleb, I know you and I don't always see eye to eye in the way that Star Wars goes, but that's the way I feel about it.
Well, based on comments made by some of the actors, specifically Daisy Ridley, in regards for what they were going to do with Rey, they didn't have a plan. In fact, I mean, for me, what you need to do is to do what Lucas did. Again, for all the faults of the prequel trilogy, you knew where it was going. Lucas knew where it was going. We knew where we would end up.
I'll give it that. That's for sure.
The sequel trilogy and its creators, like Kathleen Kennedy said, that they had no reference material to go off of when making the sequel trilogy. There's a couple reasons why she's full of shit. For one thing, Lucas had script treatments for 7, 8, and 9. That's the first thing. The second thing is you have what is called the Star Wars Expanded Universe. So after Return of the Jedi, and even after the prequel trilogy came out, you had fans and other novelists, writers, things like that, making stories. You had a sequel trilogy where it continued on with Luke, Leia, and Han's story. And the sequel trilogy borrows elements from that source material. They do. The entire character of Kylo Ren is based off of Jason Solo, even when he turns to the dark side. So they had so much to go off of, but this is what happened. They were looking at the popularity of a franchise that hadn't had an installment since 2005. So 10 years later, they come out with The Force Awakens. They get a trailer that hooks everybody. They have the nostalgia cranked up very high. That got butts in seats, right? Then The Last Jedi comes out, and it completely undoes everything that was set up in The Force Awakens. For what reason? Because Rian Johnson, well, he doesn't like Luke Skywalker, first of all. Like, there's an interview where, he sort of hints at, like, there were so many people around him is like, oh yeah, Luke Skywalker. And for whatever reason, Rian Johnson didn't like Luke Skywalker. So they make Luke Skywalker out to be a fool. Now, the character of Rey is a bit of a funny story because for me, Rey is a wet dream from Kathleen Kennedy. It is Kathleen Kennedy in a Star Wars film. I'm going to say this. When we're first introduced to Rey in The Force Awakens, I liked what they were doing. Yeah, desert planet, little similar to Luke, but she was different. She was a scavenger. She had some knowledge on ships. And one scene that I really liked was that how she was looking at an older woman doing the same thing that she was doing, scrubbing off junk. And you had the impression that, Ray's like, is this what my life is going to be? I like that.
Like I said, I think Abrams did some very good setup.
I mean, there were, yes, there were good setups. It's just, then the rest of the film happens where she does things that irritated me. I won't go into complete detail, but there were things that irritated me. And yes, I'm going to throw out the term Mary Sue. And because by a textbook definition, that's what she became, where she was widely accepted by everybody. This is especially true in Rise of Skywalker, where she meets her and Rey and her crew meet up with, I forget the character's name, but she was friends with Poe. Like they had a connection or something. And the character nonchalantly says, "Oh yeah, like I like you. You're cool." Like one of the textbook examples or traits of a Mary Sue is a character that is liked by pretty much everybody. Now, obviously, Rey isn't liked by everybody. With that said, a lot of the major characters that aren't villains, they hook with her very quickly. There's no real tension. Another thing is Rey doesn't go through any proper training. Like The Last Jedi gives us a shell of half training, but then cuts it off because Luke is a sad old man who just wants to be left alone to die. He's not Luke Skywalker. In The Last Jedi,
no, that's my biggest problem with the movie.
There is no Luke Skywalker. His name, that's Jake Skywalker. That's Jake Skywalker. That is not Luke. That is not Luke. And you can try and make any arguments you want. I promise you, Luke would not abandon his family and his friends because that's not how his character works. I don't care how low you go. That is the one thing. You can turn your back on the Jedi all you want. But Luke does not abandon his family. He literally forsook his training on Dagobah and put himself at risk, losing his hand, just so he can try and save his friends.
Yeah,
Luke in The Last Jedi dies from a headache. I want you to think about that. Luke doesn't even go out fighting. He's literally force projecting. He dies of a headache. That's insulting. There is no justification for that. But to get to the overall question, Disney doesn't have a plan. Even still, they give us all these other little side stories or like the TV series. There's stupid things in there too, like The Mandalorian. I liked the first 2 seasons for what they were. They had potential. Then they started ruining it. The Book of Boba Fett. I was really excited for that. They mess with Boba Fett's character too. They're going through an entire catalog of Star Wars characters until there's nothing left. What else are they going to ruin? I mean, they're even ruining their own characters. They ruined Finn. You had a really good idea of a stormtrooper that defects, and he had the potential to be a Jedi. That's what they were hinting at. But they didn't do that.
I always thought that where I saw Rey going, and I think this would have been unique. This never happened though. I thought she was going to be a new breed of Jedi where she could harness the dark side and the light and be her own, but not go to the dark side, but she could harness both things and become this unique Jedi. And that's what I thought they were going for. But that never happened.
In the expanded universe, that's referred to as a gray Jedi. Now, Lucas has expressed his opinions on that, saying that it doesn't fit in with what he wrote. Because for him, balance is the absence of the dark side. Now, if you're a George Lucas purist and go with that idea, cool. Or if you like to go with the gray Jedi idea, cool. I'm kind of in the middle. I could take it either way. At the end of the day, though, for whatever Disney shites out, it doesn't ruin my enjoyment of the first 6 films. And there are elements of what Disney has done that are nice. At the same time, I think, well, it's probably just an idea that was ripped from somebody else's work. That's what they did with the sequel trilogy. And that's how I sort of look at them. They rip off better things and then they package it together and show it to us as if it's new. And look, here's my biggest thing. One of the reasons why I can't get behind Disney Star Wars is because criticism of The Last Jedi was not met with, oh, you know what? I understand what you're saying. You didn't like the movie. That's cool. But, they decided to say, if you didn't like the movie, you are a man baby, or you're a racist, or you're a sexist. I don't have to say this, but I'll say it anyway. I'm not. I'm not. Like, literally, as I told you guys earlier, one of my favorite franchises was made in Japan, and it features Japanese characters.
Yeah.
I mean,
the thing is that The Last Jedi is that's not the way a sequel is supposed to be in a narrative structure. You look at any trilogies, any continuing stories, you just don't set all this stuff up and go the other way. That doesn't happen ever. That's just bad writing.
You can get different directors, but if you have a framework of where the story is going, the director,
like the Planet of the Apes, it would have been like taking Rise of the Apes and Matt Reeves coming in and Dawn and just going completely fucking somewhere else with it.
Yeah,
it would have bombed.
Yeah,
and rightly so. But he picked up the pieces and said, this is where we go with it. We go 10 years later. Let's see what the apes are doing. The turmoil with and Rian Johnson had his own agenda with this kid lifting the broom up at the end and this going off to some other casino place. That was for him to almost advertise, oh, this is what I'm going to do with Star Wars.
Yeah.
That was like his own.
He was supposed to be getting his own trilogy. Yeah. And that was said 4 or 5 years ago. It's not happening. I mean, Disney's stuff is in the toilet. It's not just Star Wars, it's Marvel too. People are just
I'm kind of I'm unless something I'm marveled out. I just am. Personally, and Star Wars could be getting close to that. But I always give everything a chance. Tim says, here's my thoughts. The moment Disney took over, it's about money, and they will continue to put out movies just because. Caleb is correct. There wasn't enough material to produce a better product.
Yeah, I mean they're ripping off certain elements of better pieces of work. So, yeah,
I'm not really the Star Wars guy. I've come to know that I'm a casual Star Wars
fan. As for who was the chosen one, based on now you have to remember the whole chosen one thing wasn't a thing until the prequel trilogy. In the original trilogy, there is no this is the chosen one that's destined to destroy the dark side. So looking at it from, taking that information into account and then seeing what's being said about the chosen one in the prequels, Anakin was the chosen one. In the end, if you don't go anywhere else with after episode 6, if you consider episode 6 to be the bookend of the story, Anakin was the chosen one because in the end, he's the one that defeated Palpatine, who was, that we know of, the last Sith, aside from himself, Vader. And after Anakin comes back to the light and kills the Emperor, that's it. Balance has been restored. The dark side is absent. That's how George Lucas looks at Star Wars, and to some extent, I will look at it that way as well. Luke, I mean, it's very much Luke's story as well, the original trilogy, because obviously we follow his character. At the same time, it's all building up to what we have in the prequels. So, yeah, Anakin is the chosen one. I mean, that's the only thing that makes sense, because at the end of the day, Luke doesn't defeat the Emperor. Yeah, he defeats Vader, but in the end, Vader, goes back to the light.
Yeah, when you actually watch from episode 1 to 6, you realize it's all about Vader, the whole story.
Yeah.
Luke's like a secondary character.
Yeah.
Whereas when I grew up, he was the main character.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like what George Lucas... Like, a lot of my problems with the prequel stuff is just the dialogue and the relationship between Padme and Anakin.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of other stuff I do like about it.
It could have been done better, for sure.
Caleb, dare I ask how you feel about the Obi-Wan series?
I never finished it. Let me put it to you this way. First of all, I never had any hope. Like after they fired Gina Carano, I was like, I'm done. I'm done with Disney. I'm done with Star Wars. But one of my friends said, I really want you to watch the Obi-Wan series. So my friend created a Disney Plus account or added me onto his account and made a profile just for me so we could watch the Obi-Wan series. And I think I got through episode 4. And I said, well, this is dog shit. The lightsaber fight, like when Vader and Obi-Wan meet for the first time, Obi-Wan just runs. The lightsaber fight was janky and stupid. The
I
character of
don't.
Reva,
I
I
wasn't sure. I wasn't sure how they were going to do that because I'm like, did not Obi-Wan and Darth Vader just meet on in A New Hope for the first time since he left them on
Mustafar.
Mustafar?
Yeah,
So
I
I was like,
mean,
now personally, I enjoyed Obi-Wan for the most part.
let me put it to you this way:
I thought, but
when
I liked Vader though. I liked how sinister Vader was.
when Leia is running away from those kidnappers, seeing that first chase was embarrassing. You have these two grown ass men that cannot catch up with this little girl. It was embarrassing to watch. And if that wasn't stupid enough, when they're in the Imperial base and Obi-Wan has Leia underneath that long ass cloak and they're literally just walking through there casually and nobody in that entire hangar does anything, I'm like, this is a fucking a cartoon, I guess. But then that would be insulting to cartoons because at least with cartoons, when they pull something like that, it's supposed to be funny. Obi-Wan, the Obi-Wan series isn't supposed to be funny.
It makes
The scene wasn't funny. It wasn't implied to be funny, but there it is. 4 legs walking across with at least 10
I think it's
people.
fair to say that Rogue One's the best um Disney owned Star Wars film for
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
It's actually my second favorite. I love it. But
Rogue One's good. It's certainly better than everything else that Disney has put out. That may be because Gareth Edwards is a really good director, all things considered. I mean,
he
I
did
know
Godzilla, didn't he?
he did Godzilla
Yeah,
2014.
I've seen that one. I've seen that one. So
I mean, that movie isn't perfect, but for what it was, I can enjoy it. But yeah, no, Obi-Wan, I didn't finish it. I saw clips like when Reva gets stabbed in the gut twice and she survives. Because in the end, you have to think about this. Reva, I know what happens. She goes to Tatooine and kidnaps Luke. First and foremost, the tension of that scene is non-existent. You know why? Because at the end of the day, Luke is supposed to survive. Otherwise, you don't get 4 through 6. So my investment in the stakes is not even there. And that's one of the issues that you have with prequels is because certain characters, you know, they have to be there. Otherwise, the rest of the series doesn't make any sense. So from that angle, it's like, okay, there's no real tension. But the mere fact that we even got to that point is stupid, especially when Reva survives getting stabbed with a lightsaber. Once again, Qui-Gon Jinn gets stabbed with a lightsaber, dies within minutes. But all these other characters that Disney keeps throwing at us, they get stabbed all the time, and it's just a flesh wound.
yeah, there's some inconsistencies there for sure. I don't want Caleb answering this because I haven't seen it yet.
You don't want my thoughts? I mean, I can
I
give
know your thoughts, but I haven't seen it yet.
I mean, I can give non-spoiler thoughts.
Okay, you can do your non-spoiler. I almost bought it today actually because I wanted to watch it. Because I know I'm not going to hate it as much as other people do. So, but I bought Exorcist today, Believer, because I want to watch that.
I haven't seen that one, but
that's all. I might do a review on that one because I already reviewed the original Exorcist. So and I'm a physical media guy. I like to have the physical media, and I might also add it to my Indiana Jones collection. So I'm gonna try and watch Dial of Destiny soon, though. And you know, in the new year or whenever. But yeah, go ahead, Kayla.
My thoughts: I didn't like it. Like, okay, everybody and their mother hates on Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. For what it was, it accomplished more than Dial of Destiny. If anything, Dial of Destiny takes what happens with Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, undoes it, and then redoes it. And if you've seen the movie, you'll know what I mean. But for the sake of spoiler free, yeah, it's an unnecessary film. It's like
See,
Last Blood, but
um,
here's the funny thing: I would rather watch Last Blood 1,000 times than touch Dial of Destiny.
the
That's
thing with Kingdom and Crystal Skull is again, I don't think it's a dumpster fire. I just
it
didn't like
has.
the alien angle. That just what I felt out of place to me for Indiana. I think they should have went with the city of Atlantis or something like that.
I mean, it would have
Because I
fit
know that
better.
was an idea they had that I think they should have done with that, did that. But and
Well,
some of the wonky CGI, but that's like every fucking movie now. So
the thing is, though, is that Spielberg directed the film, and Last Crusade for its weird special effects. I mean, like Danner, he does not acknowledge the existence of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull because he hates it that much. Me, I don't mind it. Like I grew up with the Indiana Jones films.
hey, you guys
I
don't
will,
disagree very often.
yeah. With Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I fully acknowledge all of its problems, but what really sells it for me is that they brought back Marion, who is my
Yeah,
second
good
favorite
character.
character in the whole series. I loved her character, and the fact that they brought her back and they got them together, like they actually get married, that means a lot to me. It means a lot to me. Dial of Destiny. That's all I'll say. I hate Dial of Destiny.
Well, we
That's
can't
my
win them
thoughts.
all. We can't win them all, I guess.
But you see, here's the thing. I didn't want to go into Dial of Destiny expecting the worst. Because with all these franchises, for all the BS that Disney's put out, I don't want to hate on this stuff. I don't. What makes you think I would want to have these things be bad? I don't want it to be bad. I want it to be good.
Oh, he
Well,
agreed. I loathe Dial. Jason, my friend, thanks for a great show. Caleb, it's been a pleasure. I look forward to watching your content. Have a great evening.
Apollo, I
Yeah,
appreciate it. And on behalf of my co hosts, Danner and Carter, we thank you very much for subscribing. Hope you enjoyed us. Let us know what you think.
don't ask him about Snow White.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's even I can acknowledge that dog shit. But yeah, if there's not any more questions, guys, I should get going. I'm gonna see everyone in the new year, though. I need time just to prep more content and just family time and stuff like that. So, but I'm gonna try and finish the John Rambo, Last Blood, and finish the Alphabet Action Movie Challenge. I just did Young Guns for Y. Got back to that, and we're gonna finish with Mask of Zorro with Anthony Hopkins and Antonio Banderas. I know I'm cheating a bit, but that's Zed or Z or however fucking everyone says it. Canadians say it differently. Anyways, so I want to try and get all that done before the new year. Then we're heading right into 70s action month. So this could be good. And so we watch parties of certain movies, reviews, all that stuff. Caleb, I think you already plugged your content, but you can do it again if you like before we get
Yeah.
off.
So tomorrow and Friday, more watch alongs. We're going to be watching Home Alone 2 tomorrow night. And then Friday, we're watching the Star Wars holiday special.
Oh God.
Now, it's going to be a first time watch for me. I've never seen it before.
It's been years, but
But
it's
yeah,
not good.
that's a thing. So that's what's coming up. Also, the Godzilla -1 spoiler video will be going up live tonight, so you can look forward to that as well. And that's what we got.
Excellent. Yeah. Yeah, so guys, that will be it for me. Thank you for joining on the Rocky 5 watch along. We'll try and get Rocky 6 done. I don't know. I might contact Caleb maybe in just before the new year. Maybe we can just schedule a day to watch Rocky Balboa so we can get that done
Yeah, for
before
sure.
the new year. But so you might get one more watch along before the new year from me. But yeah, that's gonna do it for me, guys. I'll just handle this one more comment here. Tim says, "Good discussion. Thanks, buddy."
Thank you.
And yeah, I'm gonna say goodnight, guys.
Have a good one. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everyone, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers.